Hello, hello. You can say hi.
Hi.
There we go. Hi. Prem, Dana, I am so excited to be here with you, in part because this was not on my bingo card for 2024. Talking about a turnaround for this company, less than 8 months ago, stability was in a rapid decline, but here you are. You both stepped in and decided you really wanted to take it on. Why?
It wasn't on my bingo card either, actually. But
So no one's bingo card.
8 or 9 months. Yeah, it's no one's bingo card. I think that, it was really because the technology and the team were too good. And I've been partners with Sean Parker for over a decade, and we have just did a very similar play at Weta Digital, where we created an application layer for film and TV. We made Avatar 1, Avatar 2, big movies with that company. And we sold that company in November 21. And after that, we were like, okay, we should probably be looking at the AI version of what we just did. And how can we use AI to make film and TV production, gaming, as well as marketing and advertising more efficient? And then this opportunity came about, and I got heavily involved with Dana on this earlier this year. And this is where a lot of the outweighed returns live, is when you're willing to go in and do the very hard work to kind of turn it around, and we did that very quickly.
And in opportunistic situations, and I think I'm fortunate to be part of the partnership now, the triumvirate, along with many other partners. But like Prem said, that is where the outsized returns live, is actually in jumping into opportunities that other people don't always see. And especially in an area like this that's moving so quickly, and where the technology here, like Prem said, was just, it was too good to let go.
Dana brings up, sorry to interrupt, she brings up a very good point. Opportunities are things that only a handful of people see. If we all saw them, they wouldn't be opportunities. And so that's kind of the definition. And I think that we saw it, and everything that we've done for this, how many months has it been now? It's been
6 months.
6 months / 6 years.
6 years.
Just how long in AI time?
Exactly. It's 152 years in real time, but we've seen extraordinary results in such a short period of time. And it was really, it's good to see that our assumptions really coming true.
Well, and what was the financial state of the company when the two of you came in? What were we dealing with here?
Well, she's the investor.
Well,
Yes.
yeah, I mean,
what were we looking at, Dana?
Look, the financial state of the company, they needed funding, and that was where we had to really move quickly on analyzing the opportunity. And so we moved very quickly, but also deeply, because we wanted to make sure that it was what we thought it was. And like Prem said, it's proven out to be, everything we thought and more. And I think in particular for us, it was really backing an incredible leadership team in Prem and Sean Parker to come in and lead what is essentially doing what they had done just a few years earlier in the SaaS space.
Yeah, you said they needed money. What for? How bad was it? Was it, because the reporting at the time, my colleague Jessica Matthews and I spent a lot of time reporting on this story, and the narrative was that stability was at death's door.
Well, look, all AI companies require a lot of capital. That's no surprise. I think you can read it anywhere. But I think what happens when you come in with a really incredible, experienced management team, leadership team, is they know how to get in, and this is Prem. Prem really was working with the team at Stability even before we closed the transaction, and helping to identify, exactly where were the areas that they needed to focus on for this opportunity that we saw in visual media.
I would say that people forget that Apple was 90 days from bankruptcy in 1997. Actually, I think they were probably closer to bankruptcy than actually, this company was. And again, it all comes down to leadership. And you saw what happens when leadership comes in with a very succinct plan, a product vision, and the ability to attract capital, obviously. But the cleanup, we have now a clean balance sheet. We have no debt. We have nothing. And to negotiate out of those deals or within those partnerships, it was no miracle by my part, even though I led the transaction.
It was a miracle.
Yeah, I was going to say, give me an example of what we're talking about. How much of a miracle?
It was...
Again, this wasn't on anybody's bingo card.
Again, I'll actually give the credit. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. But while I led that effort, we cut deals in the best way that you cut deals, which is alignment of interests. And everyone on the other side of the table that I had to deal with to clean it up and that we got there saw that this was essentially too important to the ecosystem to fail. Stable diffusion represented 80% of every single image that everyone in this audience saw in 2023, just last year, 80% of them came from Stable Diffusion. That's gigantic. And when you think about what that implies with a 5 million person active community that works on our models every single day, that's growing every single day, that's a gigantic ecosystem that the infrastructure of this industry could not take a hit on. So I think it was the alignment of interest with those parties, and and our determination to make sure that that was articulated.
Well, but I mean, the reason I say you should take a lot of credit for it is, I mean, really bringing everybody along at a time like that is, I mean, that is true leadership, and that is hard, and doing it too when, I mean, frankly, you weren't even CEO of the company.
Correct.
Yet. And so, I mean, I think when you think about how difficult it is to lead a company during, tumultuous times and during super high growth and change, that's hard when you are the CEO. But what about when you're actually just coming in and sort of coalescing, all of the different groups from, investors to employees to partners, et cetera. And I think that, that's what gave me greater and greater conviction at every step along the way, was just seeing how Prem actually executed through that.
Well, controversial past leadership has left the company, but a lot of the early investors in the company, including Coatue and Lightspeed, they left and then they came back.
Yeah.
How did that go? How did that happen?
Isn't that incredible?
I think I'll be honest, I'm surprised.
I think that says it all.
Well,
And
I think they really underwrote to this leadership team, but also understood deeply the opportunity.
Coatue left the board. They didn't invest anymore. Same with Lightspeed. Same with Sound Ventures. So not only did all of three of them reinvest into this round, their pro rata that they were allowed only to invest. We did it as a rights offering. In some cases, even more than their pro rata. And not only did they did that, but Coatue actually rejoined the board and is on our board again now too. So it was it's extraordinary because I think they saw that progress being made and kind of the positioning of reestablishing the leadership position. The reason that everybody's interested in the company is because they were so successful.
Yeah.
If they weren't successful, you wouldn't have these, no one would care. And
what were those conversations like, though? What was the vision that you sold them on?
Well, again, it was alignment of interest. I think in those, for the other investors, it was really, it was really my previous success.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, and I was going to say, I think one of the really exciting opportunities here that we saw as a new investor coming in was essentially, where we think that there is great opportunity in general in AI right now is really when you're sort of coupling the models with the application layer. And I think these models are phenomenal, continue to be. And then having a leadership team that's so deeply
just throwing stuff around.
Understands the domain.
Someone can catch it.
Yeah. Exactly. Heads up.
Is really an extraordinary opportunity. And I think that's, again, why, for us as new investors coming in, and we are based in Los Angeles, New York, and Silicon Valley, but we really understand the media ecosystem and knew how deeply Prem understood and was connected in that ecosystem.
Yeah. That's really that transition, because we were, the first evolution of AI was really the foundational, the frontier models, and then it was quickly seeing this base. Because people always talk about the application layer, and it is true that value is there, but being able to understand and fine-tune models all the way into a core model is extremely important for you to set up success on the application layer. So I don't think, some people believe, foundational models is a race to the bottom. I tend to agree as a standalone. We're really that application, the applied research and application layer, which is a race to the top. But that's a race to the top that we can have an advantage winning when we understand the entire software stack all the way down to the chip.
Now, I want to talk a little bit more about the board. Coachue's back. You, Dana, are on the board. James Cameron is
Who's
also
that?
on the board. Yeah, who here has heard of James Cameron? Everyone, I assume.
Please raise your hand.
You probably say who doesn't know.
Who doesn't? Yeah, actually, who doesn't know who James Cameron is?
Avatar.
Avatar? Yeah, just scream Avatar. How did that happen? What does he bring to the board? from your
So
perspective?
when I was CEO of Weta Digital, we made Avatar 2, made every frame of that movie with James Cameron. And so when I built the application layer at Weta and eventually sold it to Unity, he had a front row seat at everything that I was doing and with me and the engineering team. And so when this came about, I was in constant dialogue with James and in fact pulled him in early in the year before I joined as CEO. And I said, hey, I think this actually could be.
And he said what?
He said he agreed.
He said he agreed.
You mean about that
Yeah,
this could be,
that
this
this-
has the
yeah.
potential, of course. Well, I don't think he would have invested or joined the board if he didn't.
I assumed, yeah, that makes sense. That tracks.
Yeah,
But
that's
even
right.
but even back then, before you joined, before
Well, it was worth-
before this full turnaround happened. you were
Yeah,
having
well,
that
no, it
conversation.
was definitely, it would mean he agreed.
It'd be hilarious if you did join the board without thinking that, though.
No. Well, there was no board for him to join at
Yeah.
the time, right? I wasn't even the CEO of the company. So what I mean was he agreed was the question that I posed to him, which was, hey, I think this is worth looking at. And like, let's really dig deep into this. And like Dana was saying, we dug very, very, very deep into the talent pool. Like we didn't invest, and I didn't join the company until I met every single person at the company, myself and Sean. And we dug very deep, and the talent pool was so deep. I was so surprised because there's a lot of also like, and no offense, the media kind of over exaggerates in both directions many times. And then so
Why are you laughing?
I was
Sorry.
reading. Well, she's laughing because it's
I thought you were
true.
gonna say, what?
But I was so shocked because there were some departures and there's other spin-offs that came off of it. But we were so happy to see that not only did the depth of talent still stay there, and there was over 90 people within the core and applied research team, but they had two other things that are beyond just their genius, and they were dedicated, and they were very passionate about Stable Diffusion. And I found, and I told this to Dana just recently, during all that, that was what feels like years ago, was months ago when I was meeting everybody, and when we closed a deal, there was somebody on the applied research team that said, we knew you were coming. This is even before the actual deal was announced and closed, and they said, and what that, yeah. It's an amazing statement to make, meaning not me, but like, somebody was coming that was experienced leadership, that could bring the vision, that could bring the capital to the table and clean up the company because it was too important.
Well, they might not have imagined that it was going to be you, Sean Parker, and James Cameron.
Yeah.
But somebody.
To be fair, who could have imagined that?
Yeah. Again, everybody's surprised bingo card.
What does stability do to today, and what is the opportunity? Distill it down for us, here and now.
So our vision is we're doing twofold. One is we're exploiting the commercial opportunities, significant commercial opportunities with our enterprise licensing and API revenues. And the second is we are now building the first full stack AI production pipeline for professional visual media content. Professional video media content defined as film and television, obviously, gaming, and marketing and advertising.
What about you? The opportunity.
That's
Where does this land for you? What's the end game?
It's amazing because it really is sort of the thesis that we had laid out at the beginning, which is that there is a huge opportunity on the creative and production side of media to leverage AI in the creative community. And really, if you think about it, we have this incredible product marketing genius in James Cameron on the board, deeply involved, and having that combined with this technology is so unique. And being able to then apply it to those three verticals that we at Greycroft know very well, having been involved with companies like Scopely, which is a large gaming company which was sold last year. Early days of YouTube with Maker Studios, Awesomeness TV. So this is an area that we're mounted on the advertising side. We just think there's such tremendous opportunity. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's said perfectly. But I actually don't know how to do it any other way. I think it's pretty, because I did it at Weta that way. There was no space between the art and the science. We worked with some of the biggest directors in the world. We made the last 10 Marvel movies and obviously Avatar 1 and 2, and we worked very, very closely with the directors. And that was such a great experience for me because people ask me all the time after I sold the pipeline to Unity. It's like, how did you know what products to build? Who designed your product pipeline? I was like, it's easy. I just asked the directors what they wanted. And so it's true. So it became the product strategy, the product roadmap, the go-to-market strategy, everything, and also the QA. Everything is sort of built into one. And the confusing thing I find is, how am I supposed to build artist tools without an artist as a partner at the highest level of the company? So that's just, it's my muscle memory.
Now, let's imagine, for the sake of argument, we're sitting here in a year. Us and a couple of our nearest and dearest. What has stability achieved? What does stability look like a year from now?
I think robust managed service on our, which is growing at multiple. The head of marketing told me I couldn't tell you how, in front of everybody, how much we've grown, but it's been extraordinary.
But are you sure you can?
Exactly.
I think you should try.
I would like to, because it's a gigantic growth rate.
Everybody wants to hear.
I know. I
gigantic.
don't blame you. Yeah, exactly. I'll tell you in a year. Maybe she'll let me then. Anna's here. You can ask her. So she wouldn't let me tell, but it's incredible. It's triple-digit growth, and so I think we're going to continue to see that, and I think that we're going to be seeing several breakthroughs in individual shot elements. We have a very different approach. We have a professional approach to content creation. We don't have one text-to-video model that has one output that combines like a gazillion different workflows into one. That's actually not how professional content's created. Professional content's created in shot elements, and then they're composited together.
By the way, this is where he's going to go really, really deep, because he does understand this thing at a level.
We can talk about
that no
texture
other CEO
deformation
on this
models
space
now
does.
if we want.
We're sadly at time, but
good.
that's for next. That's
It's okay. I can go over. I mean, they all came. It's like,
Prem, Dana, thank you.
this is way more interesting than next panel.
Thank you, Prem and Dana, so much. That is all the time we have. I wish we could. Thank you so much, guys.
We'll do it in a year.
We'll do it in a year.